protected. Let us rise as one nation and one people for our colors, presented by the Military District of Washington Joint Services Color Guard. And now for our national anthem, here's Emily Watkins of Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MCI Center for the championship of the 52nd Annual Atlantic Coast Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. Today's championship game features the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech versus the Blue Devils of Duke University. And now for the starting lineups. First for Georgia Tech. At forward, a 6'7" senior from Birmingham, Alabama, number 55, Anthony McHenry. At center, a 7'1" senior from Hope Forest, South Australia, number 12, Luke Shinsher. At the guards, a 6'4" senior from Madison, Georgia, number 1, B.J. Elder. At guard, a 6'3" junior from Fort Washington, Maryland, number 3, Jared Jack. At guard, a 6' senior from Chicago, Illinois, number 11, Will Bynum. The head coach for Georgia Tech is Paul Hewitt, now in his 5th year with the Yellow Jackets. And now for the Duke Blue Devils. Forward, a 6'6" junior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, number 13, Lee Melchione. At forward, a 6'10" junior from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 42, Shadlick Randolph. The Blue Devils center, a 6'9" junior from Forest Park, Oklahoma, number 23, Sheldon Williams. At guard, a 6'3" senior from Missouri City, Texas, number 5, Daniel Huey. And at guard, a 6'4" junior from Roanoke, Virginia, number 4, J.J. Redick. The head coach for Duke is Mike Krzyzewski, in his 25th year as head coach of the Blue Devils.
And there you have the Food Line starting lineup. Georgia Tech with a record of 19-10. The Blue Devils with a record of 24-5. Coming into this, they were saying Georgia Tech was a bubble team. I don't think so anymore.
No, and it's, you know, they've been together as a unit for 7 games only this year, and they're starting to get healthy at the right time. I think it's surprised maybe that Duke's here because they've been so thin this year, Tim. But I tell you, I've been privileged to play in 3 of these games, and it is the most grueling mentally and physically weekend that you can imagine.
Michael, with that said, what is the key early on? What do you have to do early in this ball game?
So I think really control your emotions. There's a tendency maybe to get too up, and you really have to find that plane that you can operate on at a high level, but not get too out of whack.
I think you're right. I think emotion sometimes gets in the way of concentration, and that certainly caused some problems. Let's go over to Scott Przwanski. Scott?
We know you guys talked a lot about the stars, but there's a couple of other guys who really got to step up. For Georgia Tech, it's B.J. Elder. Yesterday, Elder was 0 of 4. His only points came from the free throw line. That was 2 points. On the other end for Duke, Lee Melchione has by far been one of the biggest surprises in the ACC this year. He's been consistent for Duke. Yesterday, he was 0 of 2. So I think Elder, Melchione, both those guys have to get the ball in scoring position and really contribute for their clubs today.
B.J. Elder missed Tech's first 9 games with a hamstring injury. Returned February 8th. Melchione, his dad Gary, was a 2-time team captain and all-ACC performer for the Blue Devils. We're just about set. Larry Rose, Duke Etzel, and Les Jones are the officials. Ryan Kersey's our standby official. MCI Center is packed. ACC Championship has come to Washington, and we're set to go. Yellow Jackets will have it first. Here's Elder to the baseline. Takes it strong. Melchione with a rebound.
Good help side defense that time by Sheldon Williams, getting in a good early rhythm with his shot blocking.
Step puts it in. 2-0 Duke.
Interesting matchup guarding him with B.J. Elder. Chadwick Randolph much taller inside. He needs to be aggressive. A good solid post move.
Bynum had the hot hand yesterday. His first shot. Banks it in. Still hot. How about that shot?
Put the oven mitts on and slept with him last night. The thing with Bynum, when he hits his first few shots, it usually indicates a big night. It happened yesterday.
Reddick. He too has a hot hand. Schencher with the rebound. The putback. Oh, he can't miss those today.
And I think it's critical that B.J. Elder knocks a shot down here early to regain some confidence from that semifinal performance.
Sheldon Williams left alone.
Just poor rotation coming down. The double team came across the lane from Schencher. The guards have to drop down and get in the way of Sheldon Williams.
6-2 Blue Devils. Blocked by Williams. Ewing will run. And it was last touched by the Yellow Jackets. It'll be Duke basketball.
Interesting. Let's keep an eye, Tim, on how the substitution patterns go. Always important in the final day. They played 3 games in 3 days. Coaches usually go to their bench a little early. And I think Georgia Tech better positioned to do that and keep talented players out on the floor much deeper than Duke.
Bynum on Melchione. A bit of a mismatch there as well, size-wise. Jared Jack too far under and still makes it. 6-4.
But, you know, and last year Paul Hewitt would be very concerned with Bynum out on the floor if he wasn't making his shots. He thought he was a liability defensively. But this year, a different story. Much improved. He feels much more comfortable with him on the floor.
Inside to Williams against Schencher. Blocked the foul on Schencher, his first.
Well, that's the thing. I talk about the depth of Georgia Tech, and they can be physical at a couple of positions. One is at center. They've got some big bodies inside, Jeremy Smith, Theodis Tarver, that they can go to. Now, obviously, you want Schencher in there as much as you can. He's very talented, but they are not going to let Sheldon Williams get easy dunks inside. It's much better to put him at the free throw line, where he's a 69% free throw shooter.
This is the first. Nicknamed the landlord. He needs to clean up some business here and try to give Duke a 3-point lead. Duke Blue Devils won national titles in '91, '92, and 2001. No stranger to success. McHenry inside the Schencher, back out to McHenry. Jared Jack over the top. Schencher has it blocked. McHenry misses in tight.
All right, so far, Chadwick Randolph, Sheldon Williams have been very active defensively around the rim. No easy opportunities for Georgia Tech.
Looking over at Paul Hewitt, very cool customer today. The ball's kicked. Reset the shot clock, and it'll be Duke.
This is an interesting matchup, and Chadwick Randolph able to come in. A couple of offensive rebounds for Georgia Tech, and that's troublesome, but Duke able to avoid any scoring opportunity there and clean it up.
Look how relaxed he looks, Mike.
You know, when you go to a national championship game, I think it changes your demeanor some. And, you know, it's not like he hasn't been on the big stage.
How about yesterday? After they beat Carolina, he walked over and he says, first thing I want to say, that was not an upset.
Well, I think he feels like his team had been dissed a little bit over the course of the year.
Absolutely.
And that's just a coach protecting his ball club. This is going to be, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament, and they're not going to be as high a seed as they were last year, but they are going to be very dangerous where they are.
Well, as you mentioned, they're just getting healthy again, and they're just finding their stride. With that said, Ismail Muhammad is on the bench. Controller tendonitis, has not played in the tournament yet. This is Reddick, and that's for 3. 2, correction. He was on the line.
Yeah, he talked about the first game against Virginia that he was rushing his shot, but yesterday and today already in a much better rhythm.
Duke by 4. Bynum drives and Elder finds it. Boy, they've had opportunities in close and can't finish. Ewing runs and is fouled by McHenry.
Go! 5. Let's take a look at Reddick and how he moves without the ball. We're going to see multiple defenders against him. McHenry now trying to use his length, but he is so good at selling a misdirection and coming out around the opposite way using the screens along the baseline.
So Daniel Ewing.
There's very much an art to that, Tim. You know, you can run around in the half court, or you can move without the basketball with a purpose. And Reddick has gotten much better with moving with a purpose.
At the line is your MVP of the ACC tournament in 2003. 10 tournament victories for Daniel Ewing, senior out of Missouri City, Texas.
We touched on the opportunities inside Tech. Only 2 of 10. Duke 0 of 4 from the free throw line. But Tech leaving some points on the floor on the offensive end. Duke leaving at the free throw line.
First foul on Reggie Love as he is checked into the ball game. See the numbers so far with the field goal shot. Reggie Love, a great scorer, physical player, 4-year letterman in football as a wide receiver, cut by the Packers, comes back to play for Duke.
Actually, the Packers training camp.
They're high. He's a good player.
Yep. And he said after this year, he's going to give football another chance.
Good wide receiver. Reddick steps through the defenders. This foul will be on Reggie Love again. That's 2 quick ones. 15:44 to play, first half.
Let's take a look at these 2 individual performances yesterday. J.J. Reddick, 35 points. Bounced back from a 4 for 17 shooting performance against Virginia the night before, but quickly found his rhythm in this game. 7 of 12 from behind the arc. 35 points for him, and then his counterpart Will Bynum in the other semifinal against North Carolina. He too found rhythm early. Got a stroke 5 of 10 from behind the arc. North Carolina really had no answer. Able to get inside and drive as well. Very powerful around the rim, but it was his outside stroke that was really spot on. And Tim, you look at these 2 players that have been 14 30-point games in the ACC this year. Those two have combined for 6 of them.
Well, they combined for 70 points yesterday. Reddick with 4 points here this afternoon, and Bynum with 2. 8-4 Duke. This is Jack. Elder. Really struggling.
Mario West
foul is called on Mario West.
Well, it's an interesting matchup that Duke is using. They're putting Shavlik Randolph on Luke Schenscher, and they're trying to hide and to save Sheldon Williams a little bit, putting him on Jeremy Smith. Nice move by Mike Krzyzewski.
Nelson to Reddick. Across the timeline.
I'm actually surprised that Georgia Tech isn't pressing a little bit more to try to get into Duke's legs, get into their backcourt somewhat.
Reset the shot clock. Sean Dickey comes in to see his action, his first action today. Schenscher will get a breather. His breathers yesterday were about 10 seconds long. Quiet in here today for a championship Sunday.
When you talk about breathers with the 3 of them, with Ewing, Williams, and Reddick, they're 3 of the top 8 minutes per game in the conference, so they are going to be out on the floor a lot.
Into Williams they go. He stumbles and walks. Tried to split the double team and tripped.
And that's a big double team to try to go through, and Dickey and Jeremy Smith, 2 wide bodies. Almost have to accept that, Tim. Look where the double team's coming from, and Shavlik Randolph has to be open in the receiver in that instance because the man came off of him.
Well, Jarrett Jack is taking it to the hoop today. I'll tell you that. That was not necessarily a good shot, but he is really trying to force the action.
Well, he had some success in the regular season against this team. Averaged 19 points in the series. Shot the ball pretty well.
Georgia Tech has been playing with great confidence. This is Smith. West. Double down on Elder. Inside to Dickey with the power move. Taken away by Randolph.
Sheldon Williams did a nice job of burying Dickey underneath the backboard. He really didn't have much room to get the shot up on the board. And then Duke can really concentrate on the inside thing with this lineup out there for Georgia Tech. There's not a lot of deep firepower out there. Elder, their best outside shooter, and Jack, but the other 3 you don't have to worry about on the perimeter.
If you had told me we'd only have 12 points in the first 5 minutes of this ball game, I'd be saying you were crazy. Reddick will run ahead to Williams. And Williams will go to the line.
Well, Tim, you got 3 things working here. You've got the tension of an ACC tournament final. You've got your 3rd game in 3 days, and you've got 2 very good defensive ball clubs out there. So I think that makes it's going to take them about 10 minutes to work into this ball game.
Mario West picks up his 2nd personal.
23.
Well, they jump Reddick in a hurry, don't they? Ewing. Randolph with the rebound.
Yeah, I'd say number 4 was pretty high up on the priority list in the scouting report from Georgia Tech.
Randolph misses the dunk. It'll be Georgia Tech basketball.
You know, Lee Melchione goes over to him, and you like that aggressiveness. Didn't make the shot, but anytime you can set that tone, I think it's a good idea.
I think he just changed the tone of this ball game. Georgia Tech 2 of 15, shooting 13%. And this puts an exclamation point to it. Dribbled out of bounds by Dickey. What is it, Mike? Early nerves?
Well, Duke has really got Georgia Tech out of a rhythm on the offensive end, overplaying a lot of things. They're really getting no easy baskets at all, nothing in transition.
Taken away by Tech.
Shooting percentage starting to come down for Duke as well. 4 of 9 now.
Pretty strong defensive move by Smith, and there's the foul on Ewing, his first. Look at the top 25 teams in the nation presented by Meineke Car Care Centers, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Duke in the top 5. You don't see Georgia Tech there, but as you said, really coming on strong.
And they started the season in the top 5, but for a number of reasons fell out. But they are going to be a strong NCAA tournament team. But kind of interesting, 2 of the top 3 teams in the country not playing in this final right now.
It's going to be an interesting selection day. Here's Shencher. Knocked away and retrieved by Smith. Underneath to Elder. Ball was blocked. Here comes Ewing.
Sheldon Williams does a nice job of getting the block and keeping it in bounds.
Ewing's shot is partially blocked. Fight for the rebound and the foul. McClure will go to the line.
3-2 over the top.
Foul is called on Jeremy Smith. That's his first.
David McClure, one of the 4 Blue Devils who had injury problems this year, and he has kept him out. Certainly he is in addition to the rotation coming back in time for the tournament.
For the freshman from Richfield, Connecticut. And this will be Georgia Tech basketball.
And neither team finding it easy sledding on the offensive end right now.
You look at that clock, you look at that score, and you say, whoa, something's wrong. 8-4 Duke with 12:25 to play in the first half. I think we didn't have a shot clock. Morrow for 3. Shot is short. McClure comes up with it.
Morrow, one of those players, especially as a freshman in his first ACC tournament final, needing to hit his first couple of shots to get some confidence on the floor. Came up short on that one.
Randolph just looks like he wants to take Shencher. Every time he touches it, he's taking it. And Shencher says, in your face.
Well, you know, Luke Shencher does such a nice job of staying tall and not leaving his feet on any pump fake.
And welcome back to the ACC tournament. Duke leading Georgia Tech, joined now by the Associate Commissioner of the ACC, Fred Bearcat. Fred, you've seen so many tournaments, so many great games again this year.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful tournament for us, and actually the venue has been terrific as well. The cooperation that we've gotten from Bill Harpo, who's the Director of Operations, and all his staff has actually helped us make this a venue that looks like an ACC tournament game.
It certainly has. The first trip to this area since 1987 really created that ACC feel. Have you felt like that?
Yeah, I think I have, really. The thing that we've done here is we tried to dress it up with a lot of banners, ACC banners, a lot of our corporate partner banners, and I think we've got all the schools recognized up in the upper rafter as well. It's going really well.
Brad, thanks so much for your time. Back over to you, Tim.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
Here's Ewing for 2, and it's been a long drought, almost 5 minutes for each team. He mentioned Billy Harpole here at the MCI Center, and I want to say what a great job Billy's done. Played Little League Baseball with Billy. Grew up in the area right here in Hyattsville, Maryland. Billy Harpole.
I'm sure our producers got that picture of that starting lineup in the truck somewhere. But, you know, you talk about it.
Avondale Redbirds, baby. They were some kind of team.
What was your BA?
A 390.
Florida jumping out. Florida won the last regular season game. We talked about it yesterday. It's the only time the seniors have beaten Kentucky in their entire career. That Billy Donovan team, they've got some young players that are playing extremely well toward the end of the season. They are going to be dangerous in the tournament as well.
As you look at the numbers on Anthony Morrow, these are critical free throws. I really feel that Georgia Tech has to stay tight here or risk falling behind and never catching up. They've got to get in the ball game. And
also big for Morrow. I talked about a freshman going in there. You want to try to find some easy scoring opportunities, and I think that's the team that's going to be able to take control of this game, the ones who can find easy ways to score, because they're both very good defensively. If you can get out in the open court, it's really going to make life a lot easier.
McHenry goes out of the ball game. Smith comes back in for Georgia Tech. Morrow goes out as well. Jared Jack, Shencher, Smith, Elder, and Bynum on the floor right now for the Yellow Jackets. Elder 0 for 5.
And here's the pressure that we thought would come, and just token pressure by Bynum, but making Ewing work to bring the ball up the floor.
By the way, Paul Hewitt is not sitting on his chair anymore. Starting to feel the pressure of the game and getting into it. Turnover by Duke. Here comes Georgia Tech. Bynum kicks it out to Elder for three. Yes!
That was a nice find by Will Bynum. He was hung up in the lane, having a sense of where Elder was on the wing. McClure got sucked into the penetration.
1-point game. Ewing takes Bynum and banks it in. Ewing rolls up on Schencher. Schencher pushes him off and tries to get back down the court. And here he is, and has it blocked. But he's fouled.
Take a look right here. You'll see Bynum. He's going to get into the lane. Penetration's going to come in. It's going to draw McClure, and that's going to leave B.J. Elder wide open on the outside. This is the respect that Will Bynum gets after scoring 35 points, and it gets his teammate an open look on the wing.
Schencher at the line. Comes up short with his first. He's a 63% free throw shooter. Let's go up to Bobby Cremins. Bobby, what about the low-scoring game?
Well, Tim, I agree with Mike. It's defense. You got to look at both coaches, Paul Hewitt, Mike Krzyzewski. They start their coaching philosophy with defense. That's what they stress. And a lot of great athletes on the floor. And I agree with Mike. Right now, I believe it's because of great defense on both teams' half.
Mike Krzyzewski right now giving David McClure the what for on the bench. I mean, really getting after him.
Well, you know, there was no reason on that play that was illustrated for him to be in. I think that Duke had the lane well covered, and I think Coach K telling him, look, B.J. Elder is a deep threat for them. You've got to stay close to him and not give him good looks.
Foul on Jeremy Smith. That's his second. Both teams going to their bench early and quickly.
And Tim, I think that illustrates too, there are a lot of times when one of the assistant coaches for Duke would have gone down and talked to McClure, but Coach K, I think, has invested even more of himself this year than in years past, and his team has needed that, and you see it right there, him going down and talking to McClure himself.
Mike, talk about the coaching job that Coach K has done this year.
I think it's been extraordinary. Ewing's been extraordinary here early in this game offensively, but he's had to, this team, I think, more than any other, have needed him more. You know, he's had such great leadership in the past, the Shane Battiers of the world, and he's just really had to take it up to another level, and it's been a great challenge for him.
Bynum backpedals back down the court and looks at the Duke bench. Duke by 2. Tempo of the game changed. You can feel it now.
I said earlier, it took about 10 minutes to work in this game, and that's right about where we are. You know, again, 3 games, 3 days, especially an afternoon game, you've got to really work into it, and that takes you that time to get a little bit of a rhythm.
That's the first personal foul on Jared Jack today. Bynum goes out for a breather. Duke in the bonus 1-on-1 situation.
This is, for guys like Will Bynum, and the coaches are going to try to get them a little bit of rest before and after the TV timeout, so you get it a little extra time and then bring him back in afterwards.
Reddick makes the first. Dodge presents this ACC trivia question of the game. Who was the MVP of the 1986 ACC tournament? That's an easy one for you, partner.
Layup.
Not going to get swatted away either.
I believe he hit 2 free throws late in the game to seal a victory in the finals.
You're all over it.
That's my only clue.
Reddick knocks them both down, and it's 16-12 Blue Devils. Tough shot. Oh, are you kidding me? Maybe that'll be the wake-up call. B.J. Elder with a tough turnaround jumper.
Well, I think the 3 was the kindling, and that might have been the spark right there.
Even the speed of the game has changed. Nelson with a push-off. Offensive.
Take a look at this battle inside. DeMarcus Nelson very strong in his own right, trying to fight over the top, but B.J. Elder does a nice job of keeping him on his back, separating a little bit with the fadeaway. Then he does a nice defensive job on Nelson down the other end. Good battle between those two.
Yellow Jackets have a chance to tie or take the lead. McHenry for three.
They will live with Anthony McHenry shooting threes as opposed to B.J. Elder scoring inside.
Reddick never stops moving. This is for three. Kick it back out to Reddick. Bang!
Tim, so many times Duke knocks threes down after offensive rebounds, and DeMarcus Nelson making a nice choice not to go up against Schencher.
Morrow for two.
Since those free throws, I see Anthony Morrow's confidence level lifting up a bit. Paul Hewitt really gauges him tightly, and if he makes mistakes and misses shots, he doesn't stay out on the floor much, but he's getting some extended minutes.
Reddick from way outside. Hello! He's got 12 points.
Unguardable. Shot was unguardable.
22-16, Blue Devils. Jack DeShencer, foul on Reddick. The thing that gets me, everybody knows what a great shooter he is, but Mike, his range. He shot that from F Street.
Duke ahead by 6, and let's take a look at what Daniel Ewing's doing. He's been more aggressive in this game, 5 of 14 shooting against NC State yesterday. But feeling it here, being much more aggressive, getting to the rim. The 03 tournament MVP, a strong early showing. There's Doug Collins enjoying the games, sitting next to his daughter-in-law Kim and his grandson. Doug spent some time in this building. And then there's the lineage, Chris, his son. And we think he's, including me, going to be a solid head coach in the very near future. Very good basketball mind. Probably drawing plays on his play table when he was 3 years old with his dad.
Schencher goes to the line for Georgia Tech. He is a 63% free throw shooter. And for the second time today, he comes up short with the shot.
Got one, fellas, straight in there. Here we go. One.
Came into this game hitting 10 of his 17 shots in the tournament, averaging 8 rebounds a game. That time he gets it up and over the rim.
Well, they've tried to get him going here early in this first half. He got some touches inside, a couple of his shots blocked, though.
Rashawn Dickey comes back in. They like that matchup, Dickey and Williams. Ewing to Williams. They better get it across the timeline. Reddick heard the crowd. Here he is again. Nelson on the baseline is fouled. 22-17 Duke, 7:02 to play in the first half. We asked you the Dodge trivia question of the game. Who's the MVP of the 1986 tournament? And the answer, of course, Johnny Dawkins of Duke, Washingtonian.
That's amazing.
Washington very, very proud of Johnny Dawkins.
It was a very strong pipeline from this part of the country down to Duke there for many years. Grant Hill, Danny Ferry, Johnny Dawkins, Tommy Amaker.
All played in the Washington metropolitan area. All quality guys. A lot of talk about Tommy Amaker in the ACC right now. Nelson at the line. Bynum sets the offense. Duke has really picked up defensively. McHenry back to Bynum. Shot clock at 15. B.J. Elder, there's that turnaround again. And they called over the back.
That's a much tougher shot from that side of the floor. And I really think B.J. Elder bails out Daniel Ewing when he does that. Rather than put some pressure on him, try to go and back inside, he had Will Bynum on the same side of the floor.
Foul is on Rashad Dickey. The RBC Centura presents this look at our upcoming ACC telecast. Obviously, we'll be back again. 2006. Can't get rid of us. ACC tournament, Greensboro Coliseum down in Greensboro, North Carolina, March 9th through the 12th. That'll be fun. It's always fun down in Greensboro.
Don't speak too fast about getting rid of us. We haven't made it through this broadcast yet.
And Nelson makes the first.
And I think that guy's absence right there huge in this game. Sean Dockery, another primary ball handler that Duke is going to need against the full court pressure that Georgia Tech's going to throw at them throughout the course of this game.
One of the quickest defenders in the conference. McDonald's High School All-American. Sean Dockery from Chicago, Illinois. As Nelson gets the second one to drop, and there is Duke's largest lead, 26-17. Jared Jack off balance. Williams with the block.
You know, it's one thing to attack Williams, but to go in and put up a weak shot like that and try to ward him off with your arm, that's not going to work. You either have to pull up and take the jump shot or carry it all the way.
Here's Reddick, kicks it back to Ewing. This is beyond the arc. Not even close.
Good pressure by Jared Jack on the jump shot.
Dangerous pass by Bynum. Kicks it back out to Elder. Followed by Dickey.
Those are the types of points that you have to limit with Georgia Tech, especially Dickey. You got Elder to miss a shot outside. You must clean that up. Dickey doing a nice job of anticipating the shot and getting his work done early on the offensive boards.
Reddick, Ewing, 18 points between them. Here's Nelson trying to get in that ledger. And it'll belong to Georgia Tech.
Here's the shot. This one is actually blocked by the rim. It's a nice idea by DeMarcus Nelson, but just didn't carry it far enough on the opposite side of the rim.
This is Calvin Randolph. Duke Edsel with the emphatic call on the block.
And with this matchup in this set, Shadlin Randolph is matched up with Anthony McHenry, and he is more or less playing center field out there defensively. He's roaming. He can help a little bit longer because they don't feel like McHenry can really hurt them offensively if they leave him alone for a little bit.
Jared Jack, an 88% free throw shooter, makes the first. Hey, there's nothing like college basketball. We all know that. And if you're celebrating the win, do it right. The way you celebrate says a lot about you and it reflects on your school. So be responsible, take care of yourself and your friends. And that's a message from Anheuser-Busch. Makes them both. Ewing goes flying out of bounds, and it'll be Georgia Tech basketball.
Ewing just lost his balance on the play.
And really banged into the table. He comes up limping.
You know, Tim, and you look at Georgia Tech's pressure, it may not manifest itself now, although they get a turnover, but they're looking to have Duke's legs go at about the 10-minute mark in the second half.
Great block by Williams on McHenry. 5 blocks now for Sheldon Williams.
There's the look, and you like the aggressiveness, but the landlord there to take the rent check.
Way out front they go to Bynum. Kick it out to Elder. This is for 3.
B.J. Elder only 2 of 9. Looked like he was catching fire, now 2 of 10 on that shot.
Georgia Tech as a team just 1 for 6 beyond the arc. Under 5 minutes we go into first half. Turnover, Duke. That's 7 turnovers for the Blue Devils.
Duke needs to check those Nikes. Second player to slip in 2 possessions.
Yeah, they've got the squeegee out there to take care of it. Florida leading Kentucky 25-19 early.
And you feel if Kentucky wins that game, they'll get a #1 seed.
4:30 to play in the first half. Tim Brandt, Mike Jaminski with you. Bynum with the ball. Georgia Tech needs some points. And they've just gone cold. 1 for 7 beyond the arc.
Melchione's going to pick up the foul on this play. B.J. Elder working the weak side glass. I think early on in this game, Tim, that the Georgia Tech set a tempo and a theme on getting on the offensive glass. Shencher started, and they've been working Duke pretty hard. They've got 9 more field goal attempts than does Duke, and most of those are coming on second chance.
Elder had 19 points yesterday. Here he is. Gets the roll.
Here we go.
Elder gets them both. It's a 3-point game. They double Ewing.
Nice job of Bynum just denying the ball to Ewing, making him work, spend some energy. Well, he stepped into the backcourt.
Thought so too. Here's Ewing though. Shot clock at 10. Big rebound. Here come the Yellow Jackets. Wild offense by Tech. Jack got caught in the air. Boy, you hate a trip like that if you're a Yellow Jacket fan.
And you could tell Jared Jack really trying to push the tempo on that play when maybe nothing was there. Duke had gotten back defensively.
Duke has won 5 of the last 6 tournaments. Last year, Maryland broke the string. Duke trying to jump back in as the champion of the ACC. Tech, last year's runner-up, wants to change that shot clock down to 2. Williams off balance. Boy, Jack is pushing too. There he is. Dickey, tough shot. 1 and done for Tech the last 3 trips.
Nice job by Melchione. Didn't have the initial rebound, was able to tip it to himself.
Ewing to the hoop.
Much more under control. He's having a lot of success taking the ball on the dribble to the rim.
Duke's largest lead was 9. 28-23 with 2:25 to play. Elder. Oh, he got the shot he wanted, Mike. He just went too strong to it.
B.J. Elder trying to buy a foul on that play.
Take it back.
In 18.
Colonel Bob Brown, command the Striker Brigade Combat Team. We're here in Operation Iraqi Freedom in Mosul, Iraq. Had the honor to play for Coach K at West Point. So I know you got a great coach, guys. So let's go take it to him in the ACC tournament. Go Duke.
One of his former players, that is Bob Brown, and Coach K keeps up with that unit via email and relays it to his team. They've been very involved in that unit all season. It's been a big inspiration for this Duke team. Matter of fact, there was problems getting Christmas gifts to the unit, and Coach K dug into his pocket and made sure everybody had their Christmas gifts in time for Christmas over there in Iraq.
2:21 to play, and immediately they call a timeout. Let me bring in Bobby Cremins. Bobby, I know you're sitting up there chomping at the bit, coaching from the sidelines. How do you see the game, and what would you do differently here?
Well, Tim, the tempo definitely favors Duke. They got Georgia Tech playing a half-court game, and Georgia Tech has to get out running. That's their game. They're up-tempo offensively. I'm a little surprised Duke is having some trouble inbound in the basketball. They surprisingly have over 7 turnovers. But both teams, Georgia Tech is cold from the outside right now. And I expect a lot more action in the second half.
All right, Bobby, you know this is 8 straight ACC tournament championship games for Duke. 26th time overall that the Blue Devils have been in the championship game. Mike Krzyzewski's had great success, not only in this tournament, but also with national titles in '91, '92, and 2001. Ewing breaks free, the baseball pass, easy bucket.
Georgia Tech falling asleep there, nobody back in balance, and but before that, Coach K was just irate, having to burn a timeout, coming out of a timeout on the inbounds play.
Tie up, possession arrow belongs to Tech. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by Hyundai. So B.J. Elder will bring it in. He's got 7 points on the day. Bynum goes out of the ball game, and Anthony Morrow checks back in for Georgia Tech. As the Duke Blue Devils slap the floor, the fans come to their feet.
Coach K getting after the crowd a little bit to get them involved. Been a little quiet in the house up to this point.
Really has been. It's had a strange feeling this championship Sunday. Jared Jack left alone. This is for three. Bang.
Jared Jack fourth in the conference, 42%.
Duke had a 9-point lead. It's down to 4. 1:35 to play in the half. Williams on the baseline, trying to get around Shenser. Power move.
Wow, there was absolutely no room for him to get that shot up.
And Shenser loses it at the other end.
DeMarcus Nelson getting extended playing time and making some hustle plays. He and Shenser getting tangled up briefly.
Second time for Shenser on the floor, getting tangled up. Ian Ewing had some words earlier. Here's Williams again. Taken away by Jared Jack. Tech has numbers. Morrow banks it in.
That's exactly what Bobby Cremins was alluding to, getting out, scoring easy points, not having to hammer against the half-court defense of Duke.
On the shot clock, 25 on the game clock. And the running one-hander. Jack. Last touch by Ewing. And timeout Georgia Tech with 22 seconds left in the half. Yes. Paul Hewitt, the 12th head coach at Georgia Tech. He's been the ACC's Coach of the Year, and on the other side, certainly one of the legends, Mike Krzyzewski. If you look at his success in the tournament and the NCAA, which we were talking about, he's one behind the Dean, Dean Smith.
Incredible resume. I mean, that's a pretty good threesome. You go to war with any one of those guys sitting on the end of your bench.
Well, the Wizard of Westwood, though, I don't think it'll ever be done what he did, the consecutive runs of national championships.
Why, and he built that only having to play 4 games to get to the championship game, too.
Oh, sure. Take up for Duke.
No, I'm saying it took him, it took him longer to get. I mean,
you're absolutely right.
You didn't get 6 wins in a year. You only got 4, so he had to get there more frequently and win more often.
You're absolutely right.
I can't believe you jumped all over me for that, Martin.
I'm trying to shake things up
for the whole weekend, and then you go at me like that.
I'm trying to shake things up.
All right, gloves are off.
No, you're my guy.
You start talking about Maryland football.
No. We played so many homecomings, we took our own floats. Here's Bynum and double dribbles. .3 seconds left in the first half at the MCI Center. Very low-scoring game.
It was almost a repeat of the one down in Atlanta. The final score on that one, 60-56. A lot of turnovers in that game. A lot of bucking and grinding.
That was one of the lowest scoring games since they put in the shot clock. Leave an alley for Ewing. He kicks it back out. This is Delson. And that'll do it. Well, they sure let the game come to them.
No, and I think, Georgia Tech finally got the pace that they wanted in the last 2 or 3 minutes of that half. And I think actually a low-scoring game benefits Georgia Tech.
Well, as the band plays on, we'll be back with our halftime activities. Mike Hogwood and Bobby Cremins will be here on the other side.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by your Carolina Chrysler dealers, by Progress Energy, by BB&T, and by Dodge. ACC basketball is brought to you by Chevrolet, by Citgo, by Aquafina, by RBC Centura, and by Chick-fil-A.
34-28, a low-scoring half in the ACC Championship game here this afternoon. We expect a very active second 20 minutes. What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think that Georgia Tech needs to try to continue to play the tempo they established in the last 2 minutes of that first half. For Duke, 9 offensive rebounds for Georgia Tech. They need to clean up their defensive glass, but Georgia Tech hasn't really hurt them. Only 4 points as a result of those second chance opportunities.
All right, just about set here to begin the second half. Let's go across to Scott Praswanski. Scott?
Well, G-Man, you hit on it. Talked to Paul Hewitt, and he said Duke's defense has been great, but they've got to pick up the pace offensively to get the kind of tempo they want so they can get better shots. On the other side for Duke, they've been very, very impressed with their defensive effort. And Chris Collins told me, he said, we know Paul Hewitt's going to turn up the heat. We've got to be ready to handle it right now.
Duke had a little advantage in rebounding. Both teams 2 for 8 beyond the arc. Duke will have it first to start the second half. Williams. And an offensive foul on Sheldon Williams. Bynum comes up limping.
Well, that was nice rotation, too. The 2-man game on the right-hand side, but Bynum anticipating the roll by Sheldon Williams gives it up, and that's a big truck to step in front of.
Absolutely. That's 2 on Bynum, Mike. Or correction, Williams. Here's Sentry, little jump hook, yes.
The left hand, too, impressive. They need to get him going inside. The perimeter game will open up if they establish him on the low post.
Man-to-man defense for the Yellow Jackets. Here's Reddick on the baseline, kicks it out to Ewing, over to Melchioti. Boy, Bynum gets out of there quickly. This is for 3.
He's trying to reignite himself. You can tell he got a little frustrated, I think, in the first half. Good defense on him. Duke really trying to take the ball out of his hands. He really didn't get many good looks at the basket.
And a whistle away from the ball. And it's B.J. Elder's personal foul, so that's his first.
You're looking for where offense is going to come from with Georgia Tech. They need to get Elder going. He's now 2 of 16 in the last 3 halves.
Reddick let that thing go, and Mike Krzyzewski kicked the floor. Didn't like the shot selection. Shencher again. Foul on Elder. So he picks up 2 quick ones.
And that was really an unnecessary foul, too, Timmy. I mean, you want to be aggressive, but there are certain things that, certain balls you realize you're just not going to come up with, and he burns a foul in that situation.
34-30 Blue Devils. Nice crossover by Ewing. Oh, that was sweet. Really nicely done.
I tell you, whenever he's wanted to, he's been able to take the ball off the dribble and get to the front of the rim.
Jack tries to answer on the baseline. He's short. And it'll be Yellow Jacket basketball.
Jared Jack, a little upright there, not in good defensive position. Looked like he was looking around for the screen out front. Ewing takes advantage of the crossover dribble to get by him.
McHenry penetrates with the left hand, partially blocked. Elder with the follow.
Immediately, this is going to be 20 minutes of pressing by Georgia Tech. They're going to try to get into Duke, especially on made baskets. With a nice offensive rebound by B.J. Elder. Maybe that's the spark that gets him going.
Ewing. Ball still loose. And Randolph loses it out of bounds.
So either you have to go right back up with that or kick it out. And he got into trouble when he was bouncing the ball. And Krzyzewski obviously thinks it was a different call. Turnovers right there. Georgia Tech, that's got to be a concern for Duke. Played that first half with only 5 turnovers.
Inside the Schencher, obviously trying to get him to go. Out to Elder. Pulls the string, but follows it up. Elder, offensive foul. That's 3 on B.J. Elder.
Mario West will come into the ball game. The reason that Elder gets that foul is because he lowered his shoulder on the drive.
Those are 3 quick ones, too. 36-32 Duke. Sheldon Williams bringing it up. Official timeout here. They want to talk to some of the players, I believe. What are they doing here? Checking the clock.
Well, if it was a timing issue or what they were conferring over, he certainly got it over in time. It was an out-of-bounds situation, so all the clocks should have been in sync. Congratulations to Larry Rose, though. He and Lenny Wirtz now the only 2 officials to referee in 10 or more finals games.
Here's Sheldon Williams into the paint. Bucket counts and 1.
Boy, Sheldon Williams, when he can turn to that left shoulder, is so dangerous. Loves to work on that left block. And had very good balance on this. We talk about Schencher. He doesn't leave his feet often. But Sheldon Williams able to create some contact and finish up through it. Nice look.
Sheldon Williams, 6'9", 250-pound junior from Forest Park, Oklahoma. And he knocks it down. 39-32 Duke. Yellow Jackets have to get something going here. Bynum. They turn it over. Ewing will run. Reddick's in front. And Reddick mishandles it, but it was last touched by Georgia Tech.
Pretty good pursuit by the Yellow Jackets there. That looked like a sure 2 points. A long pass, a long turnover going out front, but they were able to recover. That doesn't happen too often. That's the intensity of the finals, though. It gives you a little extra adrenaline to run.
Henry was the last one to touch it. Randolph. Turnaround jumper. How about that shot?
That's just sheer strength. He's got Schencher draped all over him, and it wasn't a foul, but able to go through it for the score.
9 points now for Sheldon Williams. Schencher answers at the other end. Boy, they needed that bucket.
Clear it out. Let the big guys go at it.
You can match their largest lead. Schencher helps close that gap, and here comes Ewing. That was the long arm of Schencher that knocked it loose. Jack came up with it. And the bucket.
Now, Tim, Paul Hewitt loves big guards, and he's got some out on the floor right now. And Jared Jack, when he gets to that right hand, able to finish against anybody, the chance for a 3-point play.
Jared Jack with 9 points.
Para bailar la bamba.
This year's biggest splash? The new char-grilled chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Rebuilt from the wheat bun up, it's our best char-grilled chicken sandwich ever.
Both teams trying to concentrate on scoring in the paint. Last 3 possessions. First, Sheldon Williams bustling through Luke Schencher to score, and then Schencher trying to attack Williams down the other end. Nice little left-hand hook. He does a nice job keeping the ball up in the air, and then Jarrett Jack on the break with DeMarcus Nelson all over him. The strength to finish inside. Pace starting to pick up a little bit, Tim.
Duke jumped out to a 10-4 lead and has never trailed. 15:49 to play in the game. It's 41-36 Blue Devils. And they're working on Schencher.
Looks like they're trying to get his back loosened up. The guys will get back spasms sometime. And again, it's the effects of 3 games in 3 days. And also lugging Sheldon Williams up and down the court.
That'll do it. Jarrett Jack now goes into double figures. 41-37. Blue Devils have never trailed. Speed dribble.
Talk again. The idea behind Georgia Tech's pressure is to get into Duke's legs. It may not manifest itself now, but they're looking to have it come to fruition in the last 5 minutes.
Knocked back out. Randolph gets it. Here's the landlord. And he's fouled by Smith. That's 3 now on Jeremy Smith. This trip around the ACC is brought to you by Chevrolet. Yesterday, Georgia Tech beat North Carolina 78-75, the number 5 seed over number 1. So Tech advanced to the final for the first time since 1996. And NC State fell to Duke. Terrific ball game. Duke just ran out of steam, I think. And great performance by NC State did, and J.J. Redick with a terrific performance.
That's great recognition. Seeing they had Jeremy Smith switched over onto him, there's no way that Smith could stay with him laterally.
Jarrett Jack again. Nice pump fake. It has it blocked by Williams. 6 blocks by Sheldon Williams now.
But, you know, the good news is your pump fake got you by Daniel Ewing. The bad news is that Williams was right behind him.
Ewing almost lost it out of bounds. Sheldon Williams is fouled. He'll go to the line for one more.
You know, Williams gets the 3-point opportunity, but that was all Daniel Ewing. Talk about things that he's been asked to do this year which don't come naturally to him. One, be a primary ball handler, the other be a leader, and he stepped up in both departments. Ewing getting by Mario West, and then that dump down. That's what penetration does for you.
Mario West
assist for Daniel Ewing.
Mario West caught a shot to the chops.
There's the acknowledgement from Sheldon Williams on the pass.
Tarver goes out. Barnum goes out. Mario West goes out and checks his teeth. And Williams at the line. So the big guy's back in the ball game now. Luke Schencher, they've loosened him up a little bit. He's come back into the ball game, and Georgia Tech needs some points badly. 45-37.
Well, the worst thing you can do in that situation is sit on the bench, Tim. And when, you know, once you get it in there, the best thing is to get him back onto the floor and try to keep it loose.
Schencher. Morrow's been quiet. He's got this shot from beyond the arc. It's short.
Once again, it's in the half court. It's been a different deal for Georgia Tech. They've had most of their success when they've been able to get out in the open floor and run a little bit.
And Morrow gets it back. You know, you were talking yesterday about the fatigue factor. Ahead they go to Smith. And can't convert. Schencher blocked. Redick with the ball, and they're on their feet at the MCI Center.
Shavlik Randolph coming over with the block.
The point I was going to make, Mike, about the legs, you made it yesterday. Every shot Morrow has had has been short. Redick with the layup.
Well, for him, you know, all the upperclassmen have been through this before. And Paul Hewitt has seen enough. He wants a timeout. But for a freshman like Morrow, it's all new. 3 games in 3 days. You haven't done that before, even in limited minutes.
The Blue Devils have the largest lead of the day. It's 47-37. All right. 2 years ago, J.J. Redick put on a show in his first appearance in an ACC Championship game. The freshman scored a career-high 30 points. 23 of those came in the final 10 minutes. J.J.'s shooting brought Duke back from a 15-point second-half deficit against NC State. The Blue Devils won it, 84-77, their 5th straight ACC tournament title. Today, Redick's off again. He's got 18 points already.
Tim, you know, the interesting note is JJ's played 8 tournament games and 2 against NC State, including yesterday. He scored 65 points, and the other 6 combined 63 points.
Unbelievable. Probably the best shooter in the entire nation. Here's Bynum. Just hadn't been able to get it going. Over Georgia Tech basketball.
I think you might get an argument from the Arizona people and Salim Stoudemire on that one, but
well, there's no question. But he certainly is one of the best. I mean, he's a pure shooter.
I'd like to see a horse game between the two.
Wouldn't it be fun?
Let's settle this fair and square.
Here's Morrow. Shot clock has not really been a factor. Bynum again. Redick comes up with it. To Ewing. Splash.
Right now, just too many guns for Duke. Will Bynum needs to find his stroke.
Duke is just taking over and taking control.
This was a well-run break by J.J. Redick. The look-away pass gave Ewing that split second to get the release.
Ewing now with 15 points. And a whistle away from the ball.
Let's see what's happening, Tim. You know, I talk about Georgia Tech getting out and running in transition. Well, you have to get stops and rebounds down the other end, and then shooting percentage sneaking up for Duke. They're at 49% for the game. Georgia Tech at only 26%. It's tough to push tempo when you're taking the ball out of the basket.
Good point. Marcus Nelson picks up his 3rd personal. Jack in the paint. Elder. So they've just gone stone cold.
They're getting decent shots. You know, a coach can get you shots. Players have to make shots.
11:53 to play in the ball game. Redick. Followed by Williams once, twice. Still alive. Tech comes away with it. Jack takes it himself. And will go to the line to shoot 2. Duke in control. Tech needs a run.
Are you ready?
I got a
50-37, the Blue Devils, the number 3 seed over the number 5 seed with 11:36 to play. Take a look at our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game. Most points in an ACC semifinal. Of course, Lenny Chappell, Albert King, David Thompson, 3 great ones. And then here come Will Bynum and J.J. Redick from yesterday, both with 35 points.
Played against Albert King in the final of the tournament that year, and one of the, I think, there were only 2 players in the history of the tournament that were named MVP in the losing efforts, and Albert was that year. He had a magnificent tournament.
Bobby, what do you think?
Well, I was going to ask Mike, at what juncture does he think Duke will go to a delay game? I know we're a long way away from that, but Mike Krzyzewski has a tendency not to relinquish a lead, and at some juncture he will pull it out and go to that Duke delay game.
I would guess around, if this continues to escalate, maybe around the 8-minute mark.
I got you. I'll be looking for it.
Jack makes them both. And it's an 11-point lead. So Yellow Jackets have cut into it a little bit. We'll see what happens here. 11.5 to play. Man-to-man defense. Williams against Shesher. To Randolph. And he's fouled. Cannot stop the big guys underneath.
Well, and the reason that play occurs is because Jeremy Smith is taking a peek at Sheldon Williams inside and coming over for the double team, and Shadwick Randolph doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Follow into the front of the rim. Good interior passing by the Duke big men.
Mario West picks up his 4th personal. Coach K looks out at Sheldon and says, great pass.
And it's tough, to make a pass out toward the perimeter when you're getting double teamed a little bit easier, but to see through that and see a cutter in the lane is not the easiest thing.
Randolph, a 56% free throw shooter, draws iron on that one. Jack back to Smith. And banks it in.
Paul Hewitt was talking about the fact that people underplayed what Jeremy Smith's absence meant to this ball club, and he's the one who really brings the toughness and the swagger out there. AJ Redick doing his best Curly Neal imitation on that play.
He's some kind of player, isn't he?
And that's the thing. I think his ball handling and his ability to drive the basketball have really complemented his jump shot.
Here's Ewing for 3. And Sheldon Williams with a push. So that's 3 on Sheldon Williams, and we still have 10:30 to play. That becomes a factor.
That's the one thing going into the year that absolutely had to happen. Sheldon Williams playing extended minutes on the floor without getting into foul trouble, and he's been able to do that for the most part. Georgia Tech fans sense a little run now. They're getting into it.
And the turnover by Bynum, who really has not gotten anything going today. He might have spent everything yesterday, just exhausted today, but he can't shoot. He's had several turnovers. After a 35-point effort, Bynum with just 4 points. Inside to Williams. No foul call. Ball still loose. Jack comes up with it. And Jack is fouled by Ewing.
Mike Krzyzewski irate about the no calls on the last 2 possessions against Sheldon Williams inside.
That's 3 down on Ewing. So 3 on Williams, 3 on Ewing.
And those are the guys that Georgia Tech needs to get into the big 3 because they've been doing most of the offensive damage in this half.
Short again.
Tim, he's not one of those guys who can shoot himself into a game. He needs to get that quick start. Will Bynum.
And Jack is hurt. Jack is hurt. He took the 3 and came down badly. And it looks like it's his ankle. Paul Hewitt's furious. He thought he got fouled, and that led to the injury. Came down awkwardly.
We could tell it looked like there was somebody with a hand in the face, and I don't know if he came down on his foot after the shot.
Let's take another look at it. But I know as soon as he hit the ground, he started screaming.
This is Ewing coming up after him, and yeah, you can see that left ankle just kind of buckle underneath him.
And so a hush comes over the crowd here at the MCI Center. Yellow Jackets trying to climb back into this, but this does not look good. Jarrett Jack.
They're going to call some people over, I think, to help him off.
12 points. He is the leading scorer for the Yellow Jackets today on 3 for 9 shooting, 1 for 2 beyond the arc, 5 for 5 at the line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. And he's up and he'll walk off.
That's actually, it's good news that he can put as much weight on it as he can. Normally, if it's really bad, you don't even want to think about walking off on it.
Meanwhile, at the other end, they're cleaning the elbow and getting the blood off the elbow of Sheldon Williams. It's a physical game.
Well, and now instead of scoring, Will Bynum needs to take over the ball handling responsibilities for this unit. B.J. Elder tomorrow have to step up.
Here's Elder. Last touch by Reddick. Almost looked like the pass was intended for Reddick. It surprised him.
That's going to say, I was spoken a little quickly. It looks like McHenry is now going to be handling the point, and he has played. He came to Georgia Tech actually as a point guard.
Elder brings it in. Time now becoming a factor. 9.5 to play. It's still an 11-point Duke lead. B.J. Elder draws iron. Schencher knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Duke basketball.
So they're now down to 25% shooting on the game.
Taping the ankle of Jack, so it looks like he's going to try to come back.
And he's the one we talked about tempo, and he's the one who really forces the tempo.
Timeout, Duke.
See, that was not Daniel Ewing's fault. You have to understand that Georgia Tech is bringing pressure the whole rest of the half. You really had nobody to bail him out in that situation. Granted, he picked up his dribble, but as a team, you have to look back and make sure that he has outlets, and there were really no places for him to, no options for us. Like the bench calls a timeout to bail him out.
Well, this is Selection Sunday. The ACC is looking to get 4 teams in the NCAA tournament this year. Here's a look at the history of the bid since 1980. We'll get that up on the screen for you when the Big Dance expanded to 48 teams. 6 last year, of course. 9 times that's happened. You see that 8 times we've had 5 teams. What do you think about this year, Mike? There was so much talk at the beginning of the year. They were saying 7, 8 teams. Now what happened?
Well, I think the middle of the league collapsed a little bit. I think they're looking at 5 bids right now. I think NC State certainly has done enough with the win over Wake Forest and Florida State in the first 2 rounds. Georgia Tech has played their way in, and Duke, Wake, and Carolina were there all along. Virginia Tech faded down the stretch, but I think they're certainly a lock for the NIT.
This has not been one of those stellar games that you would expect to see in the ACC. You see the shooting there. Schencher picks up another personal. An 11-point lead for Duke. 8:47 to play. And Jared Jackson on his way into the house. He's going into the locker room to get this thing double-checked.
Well, I think he may be just going him back to try to run around a little bit and see how much pressure he can put on the ankle.
It's a good point because they have retaped it. Foul on Schencher. That's his 3rd. .6'9", 250 pounds, a junior. That's a pretty good line.
Been a double-double machine in his career. 35 now in his career with the 6 blocks. Headed for a triple-double. Anthony King down in Miami had one of those the hard way earlier this year with the points, rebounds, and blocks.
Let's go to Scott Przwanski. Scott?
Well, you guys are kind of right on the money with Jared Jack. They did retape his ankle, and then they took him to the back. He went through a couple drills, was really grimacing, and now they're taking him all the way back to the locker room. They're going to reevaluate the ankle again and see if he can come back out.
All right, Scott, thanks. Bynum off balance, saves his dribble, gets it back outside, and here's Bynum to reset. 20 on the shot clock. Bynum, tough running one-hander, and it's all air. Frustration now on Paul Hewitt's face.
Now Bobby Cremins was asking about when they go into the delay game, it may be right now.
Start to melt the clock, shorten the game. Blue Devils in control. Back out to Reddick. The Jackets.
Bad decision by Nelson. Should have pulled it out and recycled.
Yellow Jackets had numbers. 7:45.
At Progress Energy, we know that people depend on power. Businesses depend on power. Cities and towns depend on power, which is why we've made power more reliable and why we're improving storm response and customer service, making sure everything goes on as usual. Meetings, the big game, even late-night trips to the fridge. The relentless pursuit of excellence, it's what we're all about. Progress Energy. People, performance, excellence.
Right. And welcome back to Washington, D.C., and we're in the nation's capital. That means there's lots of people with opinions, lots of political consultants and whatnot. We've got one of them, James Carville, with us, and you're a big-time basketball fan, and nothing could stand in your way of getting in the building today, right?
Well, one doing, my friend Al Hunt invited me. I'm still trying to get over LSU losing to Kentucky on that last 4 seconds of the game. We couldn't come down and make that shot, but this is the first ACC tournament I've been to, and it's really something I want to do. It's a real life experience.
Now, let me ask you a tough question. Who is a better basketball fan, a conservative or a liberal?
I don't know. I never thought of it as an ideological sport. I like basketball. I like college basketball, and the ACC is the best of a great sport. And it's just a lot of fun being here.
Sounds like
don't take many politics in here.
Sounds good, guys. Over to you.
Although that was a very political answer.
We need to get equal time for Mary Madeline.
I'm with you there, partner. Here's Ewing. 54-43 Duke. 7:30 to play. Yellow Jackets need a run and need it badly, but they better make some stops first because Reddick is fouled here.
That's a tough cover for Anthony McHenry. He can guard at a number of different positions, but off the dribble for Reddick. And Jarrett Jack coming back into the game.
Boy, that's great to see, though. You want to see him stay in the championship game, and you want that ankle to be healthy for the NCAA tournament. West goes out. McHenry goes out. And back into the ball game comes Jarrett Jack and Jeremy Smith.
Yeah, I was talking with the Duke coaching staff before the game, and the one word they used to describe Jarrett Jack was warrior. And he's showing that right now. Let's see if this gives his ball club a little emotional lift.
Reddick at the line is a 93% free throw shooter, number 2 in the league behind Chris McCray.
Thank you. Good shot. Stay in your space. Ready?
18 of 20 second half points from the big 3 of Duke.
Well, if I'm Duke now, I may put a little pressure on Jarrett Jack to test that ankle out, see how it is.
Anytime you get Reddick, Ewing, Sheldon Williams scoring like that, Duke's in good shape. Yellow Jackets never have gotten in sync this afternoon. Jack.
Wow.
Bang.
What a performance, and he's hobbling.
That's a big bucket, though. Pulls the lead back to 11. 7:08 to play. You know he is in some pain.
And now, you know what, in driving in this direction, it's that ankle that he's got to plant off of and stop on. Not an easy thing, and he came up hobbling after that. So, you know, Paul Hewitt may go a little offense for defense with Jarrett Jack and just keep him on the offensive floor, because in an injury like that, your reaction is the thing that's to the defense is going to be hard to do.
Mike, that's an excellent point. It was almost the same kind of jump stop, although he was beyond the arc when he hurt his ankle. Florida still leads Kentucky 54-46. That game in the second half. 6:31 in the SEC game here. The ACC game, 7:06 remaining in the ball game.
With that give the ankle, Jarrett Jack, he was on J.J. Reddick for a bit. Now he's switching off to Ewing.
Reddick right down the paint, tries to get Williams and throws it away. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I don't think that ball was touched, was it? Paul Hewitt can't believe it.
It looked like it went through everybody's arms.
Oh, tough break for Georgia Tech there. Randolph keeps it alive. Back out to Ewing. They reset.
Javlik Randolph has done a nice job. 9 rebounds now on the game. 4 points, some charges taken, and some blocks. Solid contribution.
Shot clock down to 14. Down to 10. Ewing on the baseline. Pass underneath. Ball still loose. And it's going to belong to Duke again. So Ewing will bring the ball in. 4 on the shot clock.
Look for Reddick, but then they also have Daniel Ewing stepping back in on the pass.
Melchione fires quickly. So Duke ate up some time, but didn't get the points. Bynum off balance. Banks it in. Down to single digits. Timeout, Georgia Tech. 47 points now for the Yellow Jackets, and they're down by 9.
Nice rush up the floor. Will Bynum so much more effective going to his right hand, using the glass very well in the play.
Mike, our Chrysler game summary looks like this.
Big three. We talked about it at the top. Georgia Tech needed to keep them quiet, but they've had 48 of the 56 points, and there you see the difference in Will Bynum yesterday and today. That last basket only gets him 8. Duke dominating in the paint, 20 or 30 to 20. I still think the big number for Duke right now is 27% field goal shooting by Georgia Tech. They've really locked them up in the half court.
Time now becomes a factor. 6:03. They've got to make a charge, although they've pulled the lead down to 9 points.
And Paul Hewitt trying to massage that lead and use his timeouts and in between the TV timeouts. Crowd trying to get behind Georgia Tech.
Seeing the top of the screen there, the Georgia Tech fans trying to bring to life. Mike's absolutely right. They're on their feet. McHenry on Williams. Shetzer on Randolph. And West on Ewing. And again, they use a lot of the clock as the shot clock's down to 10. Randolph in the lane. Here come the Yellow Jackets. Still plenty of time left in this ball game. Bynum again. Off balance. Block. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
You can see Will Bynum now trying to take this game over by himself. Last couple times in the rush up the floor, taking it all the way. This time getting to his left hand. Randolph just late getting over.
So Bynum goes to the line. Bynum is a 76% free throw shooter. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. Got to make the free throws in championship games.
That was a big advantage in the series for Duke in the regular season, outscoring Georgia Tech by 19 in the 2 games at the line.
Yellow Jackets 14 for 17 today. The lead is down to 8. Every possession now is critical. They jump Reddick. His shot is short. Yellow Jackets have it. Here comes Jack. This is beyond the arc. Bang! It's an 8-0 run for the Yellow Jackets.
And what a performance by Jarrett Jack. Five-point lead. Game on.
You see the timeouts remaining. And the time remaining. 4:44 to play.
Here's the look, and this is the energy that Jarrett Jack brings to this ball club. Daniel Ewing retreating. Jarrett Jack burying the 3, and what an emotional charge it gave this crowd. So the other thing, too, is that as a player, you get a little shot of adrenaline. You forget about that ankle injury.
Yes, sir. You're right. Game on. And the MCI Center's rocking.
Well, they've had to massage it to this point, Tim, at Georgia Tech. Only one timeout left and 4:44 left in the game.
And you're right about Sheldon Williams. He's played a long time with 3 personals. Never did get the 4th. He's a smart player. Here's Ewing, offensive foul.
And who is it that steps in? Jarrett Jack. I talked about the fact that playing defense is the toughest part when you've got a hurt ankle because you've got to react to it. But he slid over, took the charge.
And that's 5 on Ewing.
And that is a big hit for Duke. Especially now, again, with the injury to Dockery, there's no primary ball handler to come in behind him.
So Daniel Ewing is disqualified from the championship game. And the complexion has certainly changed in the last 2 minutes. Terrific afternoon for Ewing. And the 6'3", 185-pound senior from Texas now will watch the rest of the game. This broadcast is a copyrighted presentation. Any use of it without the express permission of Raycom, Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the ACC is prohibited. Tim Brandt and Mike Juminski with you at the MCI Center. Bobby Cremins and Mike Hogwood standing by. Let's go to Bobby Cremins. Bobby?
Mike, you think they might have started playing with the clock a little bit too early?
Well, you know, as I talked about, it was a 13-point lead, I think, at that point. And
Mike, and DeMarcus Nelson, can he handle the point job responsibilities?
Not as well as Daniel Ewing, but he's not a bad ball handler, Bobby. I think they've got to collectively handle the basketball and that press. Do it as 5 instead of having to rely on one person.
Inside the center. Kicked it out to Jack. And taken away by Randolph. Big turnover by the Yellow Jackets.
And I think Jarrett Jack may have wanted to shoot that shot, but he couldn't elevate off that left ankle.
0 for the last 7. Here's your answer. That ball was halfway down.
And Lee Melchione comes up with the offensive rebound amongst 4 Yellow Jackets. Great hustle on his part.
For over half a century, Kiowa.
Well, Jarrett Jack has had a tough afternoon and writhing in pain after a sprained ankle, but has made an inspired return to the game after that. Got it retaped, re-entered the ball game, emotionally charged this crowd, took the charge there. That was Daniel Ewing's 5th foul, and he is the only Georgia Tech player in double figures. 17 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown.
Duke's last points came at 7:26. We're down to 3:42 remaining in the ball game. It was Reddick's free throws, and Melchione gets on the board with his first point of the afternoon.
After a 15-point quarterfinal, Lee Melchione's first points in the last 2 ball games.
He's one of the Cameron Crazy's favorites. Works hard, really solid skills, but he makes both at a critical time.
And he's been a big reason why Duke has been able to weather a lot of the injuries that they've had this year. He's really stepped up his game and plugged some gaps.
Here's Jack Deschencher. Jack banks it in. And now he hurt his back, and his leg is bothering him again.
Well, what happens when you change your gait when you run, when you have an injured ankle, and then other things start to bother you.
holding his back. Ooh, dangerous pass and a foul on Jack. That's 2 now on Jared Jack. Tech has 1. OTs are in the bonus. Tech in the double. And a possession arrow belongs to Georgia Tech.
That's a similar situation as to yesterday with North Carolina. Georgia Tech did not have timeouts going down the stretch. But Paul Hewitt has a veteran ball club out there and is able to communicate with his guards and got everything on the floor just as he wanted to.
So Melchione makes 3 of the last 4. And it's 59-53 Duke. Jack off balance, offensive foul.
They love to run that 2-man game with Schencher out in the wing, and Shavlik Randolph did a nice job anticipating and getting over in position.
And a foul on Elder.
5 on him.
So BJ now is disqualified. BJ Elder, 3 of 16 from the field, 9 points today, 1 of 5 beyond the arc. Here's the foul trouble, Michael.
You've got one of your primary scorers. He has struggled today, but certainly you'd rather have him in there and hopefully catch a fire in the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I think Duke might have encountered a bigger loss with Ewing going out of the ball game, going down the stretch.
The other side, Ewing already out of the game. Williams has had those 3 for a long time. Nelson with 3 as well.
B.J. Elder, 3 of 16 in this game today.
So Reddick with 20 points, Jared Jack with 19 points. 2:52 to play. The ACC Championship game. And it's 59-53 Duke. And Reddick trying to add to those.
You assume 2 makes, but it's still a 3-possession game with a lot of time left.
Donald's All-American, Virginia State High School Player of the Year. J.J. Reddick from Roanoke, Virginia.
Really remade himself this summer, losing weight, getting in shape. 8 40-minute efforts during the course of the season and headed toward another one here today.
Bynum. The bucket counts. He'll go to the line for 1 more.
Score the bucket. White, 42.
Well, despite some charges called, you like the aggressiveness of Georgia Tech. It's still trying to take it to the rim and make some 3-point plays the old-fashioned way.
Foul on Shavlik Randolph.
Sheldon Williams has to do a better job of playing that screen role. Will Bynum able to split him right there and get to the lane quickly.
6-point game. Five-point game. Loose and Tech has it.
DeMarcus Nelson dribbled himself into a turnover on that play.
Bynum. Blocked.
Shavlik Randolph from behind. Duke's going to put the ball in the hands of J.J. Reddick here down the stretch. Get their best free throw shooter handling the rock.
No call. Whistle blows. Who they call it on?
Marcus Nelson, I think.
And that's 4 on Nelson. Both coaches.
Nobody's happy with the calls right now.
Both coaches incredulous right now. Meanwhile, Mario West Smith at the line. He's the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia, and misses the free throw. Mike Hogwood was telling me before the game this is one of his favorite stories in the ACC. Mario West was a walk-on, really scrapping at practice and on his way to a scholarship.
Paul Hewitt finally one day relented and said, all right, you know, we'll give you your scholarship. You've earned it. Only a 59% shooter, though, from the free throw line.
Makes the second. And the foul is called on Bynum.
Well, Duke at every turn is going to, especially on the baseline out of bounds, going to do everything it can to get the ball to J.J. Redick. Bynum very upset with the play. If possible, a quiet 22 points to this point for Redick.
Oh, line. Absolutely no question about that.
Especially coming on the heels of yesterday's game.
We got two. Relax.
Anything but quiet.
These are the ones you can almost just put on the board. He is money from the line. Such a smooth, soft stroke. West goes out. McHenry goes out for Georgia Tech. And Morrow comes back in along with
Okay, guys, we got
Smith.
one straight in now. Straight in.
Makes them both.
Duke gets him called it. You heard him straight in.
That's the only way he throws it in.
I think if he hits the rim, he probably counts it as a miss.
63-57 Duke. Under 2 minutes we go. Out to Morrow, who's been short all day, but hits that one. Timeout, Georgia Tech.
Huge shot by the freshman. That is stepping up at the end of an ACC championship game.
Mikey was short on 3 straight from beyond the arc before he hit this one.
Yeah, and to have the courage, I talked about it. Normally when he doesn't get off to a good start, the basket shrinks a little bit, but did not hesitate at all, and he found himself all alone in the corner.
They're still alive.
Well, you don't have to resort to prayer quite yet. It's a 3-point ball game and almost 2 minutes to go. Don't bring the big fella in too early if you don't have to.
There is some emotion. These two teams have provided us with some outstanding tournament memories, but surprisingly, they've met each other just once in the ACC Championship. That was 1986. The Yellow Jackets and their head coach, Bobby Cremens, looking for their 2nd straight title, but tournament MVP Johnny Dawkins had 20 points for the Blue Devils. Mike Krzyzewski won the first of his 8 ACC tournament titles, 68-67. Bobby, I know you remember that well, partner.
Oh, yes, I do. That was a great basketball game. One point right here I have to make. Georgia Tech does not have to foul. They can play straight up defense, Mike. They do not have to put Duke on the free throw line. Let them make a shot here.
Especially anybody but J.J. Redick, too, Bobby. And, you know, you're right, just a good, solid defensive stand right now.
One possession game.
Two freshmen are going to factor heavily in this outcome, in DeMarcus Nelson and Anthony Morrow.
How about that? You talk about a drought. And Shencher fouls Williams. Williams is a 67% free throw shooter. But I agree with you. I thought they were going to go after the freshman. Found Nelson. He's only a 53% guy.
With him, Shavik Randolph also not a bad option at 57 if you're Georgia Tech.
These shots become much more difficult down the stretch of the game, and Williams just bangs it in.
Paul Hewitt going offense for defense. Morrow will be in on the offensive end of the floor. Mario West will handle the defensive responsibilities.
1:39 left in the game. Misses the second one.
Danny Ewing trying to do all he can from the bench.
4-point differential. was fouled. Bynum took his eye off the basket. He saw Schencher on the right side. Got caught between that should I pass or shoot?
Ryan and then right there, they made the right decision. A little floater instead of trying to carry it a little too far against Randolph.
DeMarcus Nelson picked up the personal. That is his 5th. So the freshman now goes out.
Now you're looking at David McClure, Patrick Davidson.
The answer to Coach K's question is yes, it was on Nelson, and that's his 5th.
Now he's going to go with McClure.
So McClure will check in, and David McClure is a 6'6" freshman from Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Starting to look like a similar situation to what happened up at College Park.
You see the foul trouble. Ewing's gone, Nelson's gone, Williams has 3 for Georgia Tech. Elder's gone, West has 4, Schencher has 4, and Smith has 3. And there's McClure, who just checked into the ballgame, the freshman. And Mike, he hasn't been to the line very much at all this year. Of course, most of that time he was injured.
They have only 5 of 9 attempts coming in on the year.
Meanwhile, Will Bynum, the senior from Chicago, is at the line. He knows the importance of these free throws. Three-point game.
Well, that's a nice job by Bynum. He's struggled to this point, 13 points, but 4 of 13 shooting, and has not hit a 3. But to put that behind him and knock these down, what a senior does for you.
Makes them both. 64-62 Duke. And timeout Duke. Both coaches working efficiency.
This is a time, Tim, where you don't have a lot of primary ball handlers out there, and handling the press becomes that much more difficult. You really got to do it as a team. You got Dave McClure is just in, and a lot of it falls, I think, on the shoulders of J.J. Redick to step up. At least if he's got the ball and you got to take a foul, you feel pretty comfortable about him knocking down shots.
Well, you talk about Duke being in these championship games, and we have already documented how many they've been in. Last 15 points for the Blue Devils have come from the free throw line.
Yeah, and it's, again, a function of you've got combinations that haven't been out on the floor a lot, and the offense doesn't run as smoothly with Ewing out of the ball game.
Well, it got off to a slow start. It has been sloppy at times, and you saw how many fouls we've had in the ball game. But with 1:23 to play, the 52nd annual ACC Tournament Championship game is a 2-point game, and Florida now is a final, having upset Kentucky.
It takes away Kentucky's chances of the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I still think Carolina and Wake getting #1 seed. Here's Redick against Bynum for 3. Ball still alive. Last touch by Duke.
That was interesting. J.J. Redick trying to elevate his team. That was a quick 3 in the shot clock.
Now Georgia Tech has a chance to tie or take the lead. Everybody at the MCI Center on their feet. Tech has never led in this ball game. Bynum. And the foul on Bynum.
Bynum just sick with him, so he had a terrific look at the basket. Sheldon Williams left him. He was trying to string him out, and coming over that 2-man game. That's about as good a jump shot as you're going to see in the half court against Duke. And unable to get it, he just tries to be a little too aggressive going after the offensive rebound.
How about the impact Melchione has had in this ball game? Came in, he's hit 3 or 4 from line. Keep in mind, Duke's biggest lead was 13 points. Here they are now under a minute to play, and it's just a 2-point game. Melchione looks at his teammates, say, it's okay, it's all right, I'm all right. I'll refocus. He does, and it's a 3-point Duke lead. 50 seconds left. Morrow left alone beyond the arc. Knocked out of bounds by McClure. Great hustle by Bynum. Boy, did Morrow get a good look.
And again, but it's, you know, you talk about a freshman in the last minute of a close game in the championship game. Will Bynum just having no regard for his body at all.
How great is this? This is fun. Trying to get it in, they do to Smith. Back to Bynum. Off balance. Great putback.
Anthony Morrow.
Morrow just stayed with it and had the jump hook. 24 seconds left. Shot clock is off. 1-point game.
Foul on the play. Jarrett Jack can't believe it. And it's J.J. Redick who's going to step to the line.
Fouls on Jarrett Jack, his fourth.
Here's the last play. I mean, just a wild scrum inside. Shencher there at point-blank range, but the freshman Anthony Morrow coming up big down the stretch. 5 points for him in the last minute and a half.
Redick at the line. 2-point lead for Duke.
Again, your Georgia Tech down the other end. Your 3-point shooters are Bynum, who is 0 for 5 in the game. Jack and Morrow.
Still a one-possession game. Georgia Tech has to think 3. Bynum. Beyond the arc. Too strong. Knocked out of bounds by Sheldon Williams. That's a big call with 10.7 seconds left.
Well, if you're Duke, you invite anything inside the 3-point line.
Duke extends its defense. Bynum brings it into Jack. Back to Bynum. This is for 3. 5 seconds left. Duke's going to win it again. 4.1 left, and the Blue Devils are going to the line.
Wow, let's not put this one in the barn yet. David McClure, we talked about it. He got whacked in the face too. He's only taken 9 free throw attempts this year. But Will Bynum has had a couple of good looks down the stretch and has just not been able to knock anything down. Duke really conscious of trying to look at J.J. Redick playing behind Jarrett Jack in that and just not able to get it to go.
And so David McClure, the freshman, misses the first. And Duke takes a short timeout. So both sides now out of timeouts. They're in the double bonus. Possession error to Georgia Tech. So you're not closing the barn door yet.
No, keep in mind that a missed free throw. There's still plenty of time to rush the ball up the floor. Although Jarrett Jack on that gimpy ankle may be slowed a bit, but you can still get a good look with 4.1 seconds.
4.1 seconds, you can actually dribble up down to the top of the key to get that 3. No question about it. All right, so you think strategy here. If he scores this, what do you do? You close the door.
It's 4-point advantage at that point. I think it's pretty much over. Then you just don't foul anybody. Stay away from people out on the perimeter. But a similar situation to last weekend with Chris Paul and his rush up the floor against NC State. About the same number of seconds up on the clock.
I know you can cut the tension in this building. Great theater.
It was Talk about how hard it is to beat a team 3 times. That's what the Duke is on the verge of right now.
Let's bring in Bobby Cremins. Bobby.
Mike, have you ever seen Mike Krzyzewski foul with a 3-point lead? Should they miss it? Will he foul?
That's a play that I like, Bobby. I think it's a smart thing to do.
Okay.
What they're doing is, I think with Georgia Tech, they're trying to get guys up the floor and bind them in Morrow so they don't have to dribble the ball all the way up the floor.
Okay.
So let's put the spotlight right back on the freshman David McClure for Duke, who's at the line.
Knocks this down, and all the speculation becomes moot.
Moot point. Misses it.
Sheldon Williams taps it in.
(69-64) Duke.
Tim, I really think now, I don't know what's going to happen, but Duke gets an argument for #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I know it'll be an interesting selection show this afternoon.
Yeah, I think that puts a lot of pressure on the selection committee in Kansas City. Yeah, you know what? You get so concerned with the play going up the floor that you've got to block out. This is just brute strength on the part of Sheldon Williams. And what helps, too, is the nice soft miss by McClure just stayed right in front of the rim. That's Duke's only field goal in the last 11.5 minutes of the game.
But the Blue Devils were tenacious. They got their points at the free throw line. They hung on defensively and won the ACC title. We'll be back.
ACC basketball has been brought to you by Bud Light, by Chick-fil-A, by your Carolina Ford dealers, by Food Lion, by Geico, by Pepsi, and by Alltel.
Mike Hogwood with you now at the MCI Center. Duke ACC tournament champion J.J. Redick leads the way with 26 points, and he's standing by now with our Scott Przwanski.
Thanks, Mike. And J.J., we were just talking a little bit. Lots of guys can play basketball, but you felt like the difference was something within inside of your club today.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, I just needed a moment.
It's okay.
Yeah, you know, all year we just been having a lot of adversity. We had Daniel foul out with 5 minutes to go. We didn't have any ball handlers out there. Me and DeMarcus kind of had to play a little point guard, and then DeMarcus fouled out. It's just really hard, and came down to making plays. Dave's defensive rebound, you know, he didn't make the free throws. You can't control that, but you can't control your effort. And Sheldon made the effort to go after the ball and tipped it in. Just 2 amazing plays.
This is an emotional group. I can tell that with you. Does it kind of make that much more special for you?
This is the closest team I've ever been on at Duke, and it's really special. I think this win means as much to me as any win that I've ever had in my life.
Thanks so much for your time.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Mike, that's J.J. Redick.
All right, Scott, thanks. And you saw the emotion from J.J. Redick. I mean, this team fought, obviously, without Daniel Ewing, and what a moment there that he's sharing with his coach, Mike Krzyzewski. We'll be back with more postgame for this ACC tournament, but first a word from your local ACC station.
Join Mark's Road Crew, mornings on WRAL.
Duke saw a 13-point lead dissolve, and you see now they have won.